is on my side. Yes, it is. Time is on my side. Yes, it is.
Why is there space between Lyons and Smikowski?
Real quick, my fire starters. Fallen is a 1998 supernatural thriller that starts out like a cut-and-dry police procedure only to lean hard into the supernatural element. So hard that it almost breaks the movie, but manages to drag us along with it on its fascinating premise. Honestly, guys, I love this film, with the exception of one pivotal scene that I'd argue undercuts the whole... We'll get to that. Now, unfortunately, for me to be able to talk anything about this film, I'm going to have to spoil the hell out of it. If you haven't seen it, then before you go, let me give you one of my biggest recommendations to check it out. Denzel Washington, John Goodman, Donald Sutherland, and James Gandolfini are all fantastic in this. The plot itself unfolds damn near perfectly. For everyone else, I want to discuss a few things, but, and I'm not sure how to feel about this, I really don't have any major complaints or anything. I just enjoyed this movie and wanted to share a few of my thoughts. If that sounds good to you, then here we go.
I am enchanted and terrified.
Oh, and this is Dubious Consumption. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. That ending was bullshit, right? Wait, I'll back up for a minute. Overall, I think that Fallen seemed to come together at the right time, and, with the exception of the ending, could be argued that it is one of those near-perfect movies. The way they introduce the supernatural presence, the escalating tension, the madness that follows with not being able to trust anyone, it's a terrific example thriller genre can accomplish with some forethought. It's hard to really compare this to many other movies that pull it off this well, and, well, it does share a lot of DNA with David Fincher's Seven, including that it's set in an amorphous part of northeastern America. Obviously Pennsylvania in this case, but it's never stated outright. A little background on the people that made this. The director, Gregory Hoblit, has quite the film pedigree, with classics such as Primal Fear, Frequency, and Fracture. Though it seems his career took a hard hit after he released Untraceable.
Hello, Jennifer. Untraceable.
The writer, Nicholas Kazan, had a pretty strong career as well, working consistently since the 70s on everything from Francis to Mobsters, Matilda to Bicentennial Man, though he ran into a major flop with Enough in the early 2000s.
Self-defense is not murder.
However, the one person I'm surprised about is Beth Davids. One of the things I find so interesting about her being in this is that she appeared in other projects for both the director and the screenwriter. She worked with Gregory on Fracture, as well as on Nicholas' projects Matilda and Bicentennial Man. For some reason, I always confuse her with Alyssa Milano, though I did realize that her character in Fallen is named Greta Milano, so that might be the root of my problem. Speaking of which, there are some problematic elements here, like Hobbs' brother Art being special needs, only to be killed off later in the film as a gut punch to Hobbs, forcing him to be on the run for the final confrontation. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Art, played by the awesome Gabriel Cassius, but his death is a clear case of fridging. This is when they take a beloved character, kill them off screen, and leave their body for the protagonist to find. There are many cases of this, though the term really originates with 1994's Green Lantern number 54, where Kyle Rayner comes home to find a note to look in the fridge from his girlfriend Alexandra DeWitt, only to find her stuffed awkwardly in it. Deadpool 2 got caught up in this criticism for the handling of Veronica, and the aforementioned Seven had its most memorable scene.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
And most of Nolan's movies also rely heavily on this trope. The other issue, of course, is the shooting in the middle of the street after multiple possessions. The possessed man pulls a gun, Hobbs shoots him, only to get in trouble when it's found that the gun had blanks. And maybe just me, but it doesn't really seem like there was any way for him to know that. As we found in the past few months, cops have
qualified immunity,
which gives them carte blanche in dangerous situations. Unfortunately, the demon possesses a bystander and then reports an inaccurate statement that implicates Hobbs. Now for the ending. Man, I was rooting for Hobbs on this one. He came up with a near foolproof plan only for it to be ripped out from underneath him at the last second. For those that haven't watched it in a while, Hobbs has found the Milano cabin in the middle of nowhere with the hint as to the demon's actual identity. He learns that he can travel 500 cubits or roughly 760 feet upon the death of his host, If he can't find another body within that distance, he'll die. After Hobbs has been suspended and dropped off his nephew with Greta, he goes to the Milano cabin, all alone. His partner Jonesy and his superior Lieutenant Stanton show up, only for it to be revealed that Jonesy has been possessed by Azazel. After incapacitating his possessed partner, Hobbs takes a long drag of a poisoned cigarette. With no one around, he is intent on dying just slowly enough that Azazel will have to possess him. And in the final moments, we think Hobbs has won. Well, in theory. Then Azazel possesses a cat.
Then Azazel possesses a cat.
Then Azazel possesses a cat and quippily states,
Oh, you forgot something, didn't you? At the beginning, I said I was going to tell you about the time I almost died. See you around.
I cannot express how much I hate this ending. Regardless of how this plan played out, it was always going to be a tragedy for Hobbs and his family. Like the space between Lyons and Spakowski, Hobbs is now a disgraced police officer who has killed several innocent people, including his brother and his partner, only to commit suicide in the cabin where another disgraced officer had done the same decades before. To have the linchpin of your twist be a pedantic use of language, something that no one would be paying attention to because it's the first line of the film, in Hobbs' voice. Well, at least I can say that I'm not the only one. In fact, the ending was so despised that the fan editor CBB created an alternate cut that takes many of the lesser elements of the film and either cuts them completely or significantly reduces them. One of the biggest is the complete removal of Azazel's voiceover along with the cat ending. While I don't necessarily agree with all of his edits, CBB has an insane backlog of fan edits and he clearly knows what he's doing. Get this, he has 43 credited fan edits, all released between May 2005 and January 2011. One of my favorites is The Matrix Designized, which goes out of its way to combine Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolution in one improved movie, leaving out all scenes on and about Zion. Have no doubt, I plan on diving into my love for fan edits in some future video. If I had to really distill my feelings for this movie, I'd say it fits quite squarely with my first video for the channel, Yellow Brick Road. I love everything about this film until the last few minutes. Then the movie takes all my goodwill it has built up over the past 2 hours and 4 minutes and chunks it out the window. Some have pointed out that there is foreshadowing, but I'm going to show you right here how much is dedicated to the Azazel twist.
I want to tell you about the time I almost died.
Fuck you up, down, left, right, coming, going. I'll get so close to you. So close it breaks you. If that doesn't work.
Oh, you forgot something, did you?
Not much there, right? Regardless, this is a masterclass in suspense and world building. It lives in rarefied air that few movies can pull off, and I, for one, am glad that it exists.
Fallen.
And that's it. Did you have as big of a problem with the ending as I did? Have you had a chance to check out the Azazel fan edit, much less any others? What was your favorite scene in the movie? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I want to thank my patrons Chris Markinson, Stormy OK, David Ferguson, and Colby Puckett. Having you guys by my side helps me move on in these dark times and press forward. You can support me on Patreon for just $1 per video and get to see cool stuff like my scripts, behind the scenes videos, and the chance to influence future content. We also have merch on both TeePublic and Teespring. Make sure to tag me if you pick something up. I love to see it. You can find me at justindherd.net and on Twitter at justindherd. Hit me up there to discuss your favorite horror movies and just about any piece of media. Thank you once again for sticking with me. My name is Justin D. Hurd. This has been Dubious Consumption, and I'm outro. Oh yeah, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this is Dubious Consumption.